games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you, and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Yes, Lucky.
All right, mate.
How are we, sir? Good to have you back, as always. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure's mine, mate.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Good. Well, just complaining about the weather, but it's good to have not rain for once, I guess, in it. Do you know what I mean? It's a nice little change, but
Takes a bit of getting used to,
if we were complaining, wouldn't we?
I know, that's pretty much it, innit? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that's the frustration of it. It's like it's raining and I'm on, it's red hot and I'm on. So I'd quite like a nice level of weather for a bit though, as opposed to just straight into scorching, because I think that's why it's so hot. It's just too much, yeah.
It is a bit grim, but
and windows up and don't make any.
Makes it worse.
Does it? Yeah, it does. Worse. Lets it in, yeah. There's that muggy heat in. My cat, I've got 2 cats, and they're just literally like sprawling around everywhere. They obviously can't get enough of it, but even they don't want to be running about in this. It's like it's too much. Have you got a cat?
Beeping. People are going crazy outside for some reason. Have I got a cat? No, I want one.
I thought you had a cat for some reason. I know why I thought you had a cat.
Why?
Because it's on your.
Oh, yeah. My girlfriend made me have that as a picture. So.
All right.
Yeah. I want to change it, but I'm not allowed.
No, that's fair enough. Does your girlfriend want a cat then?
She wants a little flat, fluffy one.
Yeah, get a cat, man. They're awesome. They're well fun.
Are they?
I'm not an animal man, but they're mint.
I might have to. I want a bit. You know what a Bengal cat is?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
crazy energetic ones that can jump really high.
Yeah,
me. I want one of them. But they're like $2,000, so we'll be saving up for a few years.
We just get little mongrel ones, little tabbies or whatever. But I've got a mountain Norwegian mountain cat, Norwegian forest cat or something, which I didn't even know what it was. Vet told us. No. So, but she's really shy. She's quite funny, but she's a nightmare when you try to sleep. It's like, honestly, just don't leave you alone. It's crazy, especially in this heat.
Yeah, I'll probably get one in the next few years, to be honest, mate. We have been thinking about it for ages. Just you got to prepare your house and stuff, haven't you, and all that.
Yeah, you do a bit. Yeah. They have a go at everything. They can get their mitts on,
destroy everything.
But yes, this is not the cat channel. Although I am partial, I could talk about my cats, which I never thought I'd say a few years ago. That's for certain. But now I am the cat man.
That's the thing, I've seen a lot of people that were anti-cats, but then got a cat, and then really like cats. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm just anti-animal. I'm scared of animals, big style. So when cat were in house, we had a bit of a face off for a few days where it just stayed away from me and I stayed away from it. But now we're mates now, so it's all fine.
I ate geese.
Yeah, that's
vile creatures.
Geese. Yeah, they're nasty as well, though, aren't they?
Canals in Manchester, they're everywhere. You have to walk past them and they'll just hiss at you.
Yeah, I've got a story about a swan, but it's not really appropriate. I'll tell you. No, insane happened, but I'd rather not. Well, no, maybe another time. Maybe a story for another time. I think swans are scary, man. They're vicious.
Don't know about swans, to be fair. Can't really.
Yeah.
And geese, though.
They're massive as well, aren't they? When they open wings up and they're huge.
You're just walking. Just walking and they're just not doing it all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Creatures.
Swan song. We'll have to do that in the swan song, actually, to be fair. Manchester, me fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, though, but
I think Oliver lives in Manchester as well.
Oh, do you, Ollie? Yeah. Understood.
So, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, you're on about moving back up, though, aren't you, Lockie? Yeah, be good.
I'd do it right now if I could, mate. But we need to sort our job situation first before you.
Yeah. But prepare. You got plenty of time, lad. Got youth on your side. Yeah, man. Can't beat it.
Nah.
But yes, Lockie. So, what did you reckon to? Obviously, Farke's had his press conference, but before we do that, I just want to before we do that, I just want to discuss the Bristol game a little bit, because I thought it was a all-round excellent performance. To be honest, I relaxed into the game. I don't know whether you think that's down to the fact that there was a great deal riding on it, although I still think we wanted to win the league. I still think it's the players want to win, but obviously the shackles have been removed slightly.
Yeah, it's one of them games which we've probably never had since the Bielsa season, to be fair, when we went up, where I was going into it going, oh, I'd like a Ramazani goal, I'd like a Bamford moment, I'd like you know what I mean? Just enjoying it by picking who's going to score today, kind of thing. And we got a few of them, to be fair. And that was it for me. It was just like one of them games where you just collect memories from it in a weird way. It sounds a bit cringe, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, Harry Gray having a bit of fun, like stuff like that. So like, them things you remember, you know, and I just enjoyed it for once, watching football, just knowing that no matter what happens here, we're going up. How good's that feeling? But we're also actually mint as well. We're really good. I honestly think it was my favourite performance. I thought we were outstanding. We just looked so confident and quick and powerful. I don't know if you thought. Everyone was just on it, weren't they? They were just going forward, man.
It felt like it felt midway through season last year when we were on that crazy run, and I just thought we were going to never get beat again or concede a goal or whatever. But on Monday, was it Monday? It was like you said, there was so much more energy involved. Like sometimes the game had sort of like subdue a little bit, and you'd think, oh, we're just coasting to victory here. But I felt we were quite unrelenting, you know, and it was only a matter of time before we would get another one. It was only a matter of time before we got the first goal. And Bristol are a good side, aren't they? They are potentially in the Prem themselves. So it's a wild result beating them 4-0, really. And it could have been more.
Like the fact that they needed 3 points to secure top 6. Like, they had a lot on that game, and we had nothing to play for really apart from winning the league. But it's the way we had it at the back, and then literally in one pass, Perau's got it, and we're in their final third, and we've suddenly got 5 men running at their defence, just in one pass. I'm thinking, what's going on here? This is ridiculous. This is like this is the type of style I think when we go at the Prem, that's how we need to be more direct for me. Not necessarily in the air, you know, but can we get it early into the striker's feet and run off him? You know, because I do agree with people when we say if we try and dominate too many games possession, we come up against elite footballers every week, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. So if we can find a way to kind of get it forward quick and just be powerful and direct, I think we can win games. So that's probably what got me excited about this game. It was a bit of a blueprint, definitely on the ball, how we can kind of expose anyone at times for me. I don't know if you thought that.
Yeah, I saw Keane and Neville always go on about it, but literally back in day a little bit, get it into your best players as quickly as possible, really. Like, just give them it. Do you know what I mean? They are the most influential players on the pitch for a reason, aren't they? And I know we have a lot of the ball in the Championship and stuff, but I agree, obviously, it's going to be a lot more difficult. On his possession, even when he went down, because I looked at it earlier, he had 46% possession on average per game, which I'm not saying, by the way, that's domination of possession, but I just want to try and put to bed this myth that we're not going to, even in bad sides, like, you know, we're on about how bad Norwich were and how bad Sheffield United have been, Leicester and everybody that's come down this year have been. But we're making out as though it's like, we'll go from 80% possession to none. We will not get the ball next year. Like, we'll have some ball next year. Do you know what I mean? We've got good enough players to retain the ball. It's just like you say, we're going to have less of it and we need to be a bit more, not necessarily direct but like what you're saying, like just, you know, into the form players, into the forward players. We just need to get on with it, don't we?
Yeah, that's it. We need to be brave, mate. I think there's too many times. I think this season we kind of knew at times that we're probably good enough to win the game, so we can be a little bit safe. Whereas next year, that decision to be safe, so say Ampadu's got it or whoever's at the back, there's a pass into Perau, bit risky, but can be. You pass it to the side. That could have been the moment where you probably could have exploited him. It's about being brave for me. I think any team that goes up and is brave, I think you stand more of a chance. I feel like if we're one of them teams that try and see out games, I just think a lot of the Premier League teams are too good for that. They will eventually score. That's my worry. So I do feel like we need to be aggressive. I think that's really important. A lot of that, that get forward, aggressive, quick, powerful. But yeah, we're not going to change drastically in terms of, we're not going to have 20% possession. That's not us. We will try and hold on to it. It's just like we did against Bristol. When there's an opportunity, go forward, do it. I think we need that side, that brave side of it. And look, I think these lads are confident. Look at the form in the last 6 games at the crunch end of the season. They weren't even fazed by it. It were easy for them, really, for a lot of it. So I think they've got it. I just think we need to add some quality players in there, and then we'll be absolutely in there to try stay in the league or in top 10, Jack.
Yeah, I agree. I'm aiming for 10th, mate. I honestly think it's achievable, Lockie. I think if we go up with the idea that we're just there to hang on for 17th, I'll take 17th. I just don't like the idea of saying, right, if you give me 17th now, I'll take it, because I don't think it has to be like that. I think we'll end up stuck if we're like that, and we won't. And FARKE certainly won't be here. We'll have a topsy turvy, first season in Premier League. We just want to go up, have a brilliant start, get a few wins down under his belt, and then just sort of like build from that. And even if it goes a bit pear-shaped at times, it doesn't matter. I don't want to go up. I think as long as we sign really well, get a couple of really competitive footballers. I don't care who they are, where they come from, anything. I just want them to be super competitive, give 100%. Really want to play for the club and like prove themselves. I don't want to. I don't really want to go out and get someone that's maybe can do it for us. Do you know what I mean? I just want to get it.
Yeah.
Know exactly where we're at and just get it right. And hopefully that FARKE can make these players, because I believe in FARKE, and he can make these players better players. Like Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle and stuff with a lot of them lads. That the nucleus is still there from when they were borderline relegated. Themselves. So I know they've got brilliant players like Isaac and stuff, and there's no reason why we can't do that. We can pick players up.
I agree. We're and it's not arrogance. I think it's true. We are a big pull. Everyone's talking about Leeds, not really Burnley. Who have gone up with us in on the same points currently, which is ridiculous for them as well. Their points record is a joke. Their defensive record is a joke as well. But most from what I've seen anyway, maybe it's my algorithm, but it seems like all the BBCs and all that, they're talking about Leeds. You look at the stadium stuff, that excites me. I know people have problems with ownership and the future of it, but I don't care about that. I just try and worry about what's happening now. And they've got the cash, they've got the expertise, they've done it to another team. They know how to build a team. They know how to. They're winners, mate. They're serial winners. They will do anything to win. So I think we've got pull. I think we can attract some big players. I'm not talking Champions League top level players, but I'm talking players that have done really well in Europe or even top end Championship 1 or 2 maybe. But it's there for us now. We've got the infrastructure behind this time. We probably didn't have in the first time, let's be honest. But this time we do. We've got the cash. We've got the infrastructure. I think the board and the owners have the vision. We just need, I say just stay up. We need to stay in the league, whether that's 17th, 16th, 10th. If we're in there by this time next year, you've got that foundation then, aren't you? And then that there'll be 3 poor teams coming up. So there's easier chance of staying up. I honestly don't know, Jack, where we'll finish. I think once recruitment's done, once the window's done, then I'll probably look at it and go, oof, depending on who you bring in. But I'm just excited, mate. I'm excited about this. I know we're not going to win every week, but I just want to see us battle. I just want to see us fight. I want to see us give it a go. And I think if we get all recruitment right and we have players, like you said, who want to be here and want to stay in this league, why can't we get 40 points? Yeah. I think we can.
I'd love to be just, like I said, really competitive. And when teams come to Ellen Road, just be like, it's going to be horrible today. And I don't mean, I don't mean Stoke style or something, from back in the day, or just pumping it long and being a terrible team to play against. I just mean like, it's going to be hard work today. And we're really well drilled, which I think we are. I think FARKE has got, I know people say tactically inept, but I think he can get it. I think he can get it sorted. I think he's got tons to prove as well. And every game he's gonna have potentially people on his back about stuff. So he's gonna want to be absolutely flying as well. There's nobody gonna be messing about next year, is there?
This is it, mate. This is what's going to frustrate me already. So most people, I know you're not, but most people are saying they'll take 17th. But if we're around 17th, 10 games in, people want FARKE out.
Yeah.
They won't take 17th then. If it's another manager and we're 17th, they'll go, give him time. Give him time. You're 17th. It doesn't matter who's in charge. You're 17th. You know what I mean? You're around the same position. It's going to be tough. I think, in my opinion anyway, I know you think we'll do a bit better. We might. I know what we do. I do think it'll be kind of that 18th to kind of 14th mark, ideally on the higher end of that, 14th, 15th. You know, we might sneak in once or twice to 12th or something like that. But if we're like that, and it's one of them where, I think you said this before, mate, where you just kind of drop off slowly and you just end up 16th, but you're all right. You know, a bit like Wolves have, and you pick up a little bit of form, win your last 2 or 3 or something like that. That's it for me. That's all it needs to be. I just want to have some moments where a few big wins in there. Maybe we beat a Liverpool or one of the Man United teams, one of the Manchester teams, something like that. You know what I mean? And then obviously you beat some of the chumps in there, some of the little teams.
Yeah. Well, that's where the moments will come from, Lockie. That's what I mean. Because if we start well, and we are, the only reason I'm saying I don't actually think we'll finish 10th, but I think realistically we can finish 12th to 5th to 16th, 7th. I don't want to say 17th because I want to get that out of the possibility, out of the realms of possibility. But I think if we can be hovering around and we look decent after 8 games and think we're actually in with a shout to, you're sort of looking up rather than looking down, even though we'll all still be very well aware of what's going on below. But then, I said a few weeks ago, then you can sort of flutter down a little bit and nobody's really panicking. Nobody's on at FARKE. We're still there to build. Just on FARKE, obviously, because his future is, you think he'll be here next year, Lockie? Do you think the 49ers will just do? I don't know how to ask this really. Like, will they be playing it by the year, or will they go right? We're back into a 2-year plan, or what? What do you think? I know it depends how results go, but
it's hard with them because I think it's weird because I think it'll be the opposite of this year. I think no matter what happened, kind of last season, as long as we weren't probably below 5th, I feel like they'd have backed him anyway. But I feel like in the Prem, because he's not got that proven record, obviously there's massive context to that, which we will probably talk about, but he hasn't. So there's no guarantee that it will work. I think it could. There's no guarantee, right? Because he's not finished 9th in the past. He did finish bottom both times. Well, the second time he got fired, so it not really is. The first time anyway. So it's kind of, I don't actually know what they're like. I've got a feeling I can't see them even thinking about us being relegated. Like, I think they are that. They don't want to be in the Championship. All these plans are not going to work in the Championship at all. They want a European club, mate. They want a team in Europe. So if it is a bad start for FARKE, I'm not sure they'll have a long patience with him, to be honest. But that's a worry for me because I feel like, say it's like 7 or 8 games and we're not really starting well, then you sack him. I feel that's a bit, you didn't really believe in him that much.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Probably should have got rid of him at the start. Whereas if they bring a manager in, if they got rid of FARKE and brought a manager in, you'd assume they'll probably keep that manager for the season based on the fact that they thought this is the one. Whoever it is, I feel like they've got to back it. I do. I feel like they've got to back it. I don't want us in a situation where we're looking at January, we've just lost our manager and there's no one out there. Like and you've got to go them 2 or 3 weeks where you've got caretaker in charge and you bring their name and it's respectful to Steve Cooper, but it's someone like that. Are you like, is that better than what we lost? You know, I don't want that. That's what I don't want. That's my worry.
It gets messy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And not like Lionel, not the type of messy you want around the place. It gets choppy waters. Like, say, caretaker managers coming in are always like, how long's it? And then you sort of have that silly thing where he picks up a result and then you have to pretend that he's potentially getting job for a couple of weeks, don't you? And we all have to go down that, like, why don't he get the opportunity? And it's just, it's all, it's all a mess. I agree. That's why I asked you, like, I know it can't be a 2-year plan just on the basis that if it goes tits up at any point, but they'll have to promote something to FARKE, because I think with all this stuff, FARKE's just as likely. He's not going to walk out the door because he'll want paying. But I think if they're showing any sign of like, I think he's quite strong-minded, and I do think he'll be very much like, if this doesn't sound right to me, he won't want to do it himself. I don't think.
No, it's a hard one for this. This is it with the manager. Like, I do fully back him, but I'm worried that if it doesn't go well, what in a really, and I don't want this, but say there is there's a good manager out there right now who wants to take the club, right? And you think of the name, whoever that is, there's a few in your head, I'm sure. But then, and we're going, oh, but then the club say, right, we're backing the manager, we're backing FARKE. But then 10 games in, you've won one. And that manager's now at another club. And you're going, I don't want that. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm dreading.
This is awful.
So I hope it works. I hope we back him. I think that's fair. I do. But I hope it works. So I don't want to be in a situation where I'm going, we could have got this guy in the summer. You know what I mean? I hate that idea. So I hope it works. I hope he keeps talking about he wants to make us a consistent club in the Prem. He never says about he wants to take us to the top. I think he knows as long as he can get us stable, for him, I think that's where he'd be happy.
Yeah.
I think there might be an understanding then that to get to that next level, maybe you do need to go for them club managers who've been at top clubs, maybe. I don't know, but I think he can. I genuinely think he can. It just needs the right players and maybe even a bit of patience from the board, because it might take a while. It might take a while for these players that we're bringing to understand the Prem, because it's so difficult. But I don't know, mate. It's a tough one. What do you think about do you know what I mean, though? If I'm not saying Joseph, someone like that, a big name, and then we're looking in like December and we've won 1 in 10 with 19th or 20th, and then he's at like a club and doing all right. It's like when we wanted Unai Emery when we sacked Bielsa. Unai Emery, I believe, was one of the favourites. But he went to Villa before we sacked Marsh, because people said we should have sacked him earlier. Villa got Emery when he sacked Gerrard and flew up the league. And then we're going, we probably could have got him. Like that. I don't want that, mate. Ooh, it's scary. Mate.
No, I know what you mean. And then FARKE falls on an even harder sword there, doesn't he? Like even sharper sword, because that's not his problem either, is it? I really feel for FARKE in all of this, because obviously he knows. I mean, I loved how he came out. His last 2 press conferences have been brilliant, haven't they?
Yeah.
But this one today, he comes out and he's like, he's not been like this previously, really, has he? But he's not having it now. It's like, no. And then he actually breaks his career down, and you think, well, he's a very successful manager if you take out the absolute top tier. But managers need these opportunities to get. His only way into the Premier League currently has been through the Championship, isn't he? Which it's like we're in like a weird 50-50, because we're all agreeing that's the hardest way to become like a decent Premier League side. And then the same.
Squad,
and then the flip of it is like, that's the only way he's been in there. So you're saying it's the hardest thing to do, and then you're saying he's failed when he couldn't do it with Norwich, who didn't spend any money. So it's just it's a weird, I don't know if that paradox is the right word, but it doesn't make sense. Like even Emery, when he comes, who is a brilliant manager, and he transformed Aston Villa, and would have definitely done that over Marsh, and I believe he could have done the same with us. But he's coming into a different job. Villa are a Premier League side at that point. Do you know what I mean? I think, I don't know. It's rather than open heart surgery, it's knee surgery or something when you're coming into a team that have, and you've just got to survive maybe 8-10 games, get into next season, and then Emery's got a full season at it. I need to really get stuck into the board and get his players and stuff. Yeah,
it's same for the players though. Like, imagine we think we have a really good window in the summer, and then these players are just not performing, and we're going, oh God, January, anyone? And then suddenly we're back in 1 in 10 players in January, and we know that's not going to happen. It's just got to get right. If we get it right in the summer, if recruitment's good, and we bring in some players and they're looking decent, I think we can do it. I do. I'm confident. I just want to see us perform, mate. I just want to see us go toe-to-toe with these guys. I know you get annoyed about the Rafinha stuff when it's, he played for Leeds, and I agree. Like, what are we? Who are we? We're nothing. What? We're a big club. When he played for us, we had Bielsa. We were mint. Everyone loved Leeds. I agree. That's what I was saying in the chat. I agree that the level now, the fact he's could be winning Ballon d'Or, and we're in the Championship, that's the crazy thing to me. How it went so bad for us, but we've got to be confident. We're back in the Prem. That's why FARKE now, look how confident he is, like you said, in his pressers now. He's giving it bigger now, isn't he? Now he's got us promoted.
Yeah.
To him now. So he's telling everyone about his career, and I absolutely love it. I want a confident manager. I like that. I like that he gives it back. And hopefully now he's got a point to prove, a massive point to prove, and I'm sure he'll want to prove
that's why I feel for him a bit though, because he knows that. I always get the impression when people sort of really berate somebody, or really go over the top on a certain player or a manager or whatever, like they don't know. Do you know what I mean? That's what always makes me laugh about the scenario. It's like it's a really low resolution criticism, isn't it, of him? Because Parker's not getting any of this, and Burnley are definitely coming back down. So they're just not going to compete. So it's like, and whoever comes up third are probably not going to. But yet FARKE is the only one that's sort of, his head's on board. And I understand it's because Leeds just want to stay in Premier League, and ultimately Burnley and, Sheffield or anybody that comes up as third probably know that they can maybe hang in there for a season at best, really, and then go down year after. And we don't want to do that. But I just think FARKE is he's taken sting out of the potentially winning the league on 100 points and currently 7 goals off 100 scored. 14 conceded less than Burnley, who allegedly not allegedly, they are defensively brilliant, defensively very sound. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this as well, Lockie, because this idea that us going forward on the pitch, not just into the future, like during the games, we won't be able to. But Burnley's defense is going to sort of like hold strong against better teams. I don't understand they're just defensively what we are attackively, and they're attackively what we are defensively, even though I think we're probably just as good as them defensively. It's just we've had some horror moments, haven't we, ultimately? I mean, Mez has conceded, you'd probably argue 5 or 6, 7 goals. So that'd put us on nearly what they're on anyway.
Probably, yeah. If Trafford didn't make some...
We'll get on Trafford, don't worry about that, Lockie.
You know what I mean? But it's right. It's weird because I'm thinking of the Bielsa team, and everyone always, the mischaracterization of that team is we just went forward and we didn't defend. In the Championship, our defensive record was mint. It was really good. But in the Prem, we still kept that attacking output, but our defense got a little bit leaky because of the opposition. So I think for me personally, I do think it's the going into the Prem, it's the best thing to have a better attack, because I feel like you can keep that, especially with our players. I think they're really good, and defense is always going to be tough anyway in the Premier League. It just is. You come up against world-class wingers every week. We saw that. This is what's the thing for me. Bogle, Firpo, they're going to get skinned. Yeah, every fullback gets skinned in the Prem because every winger is absolutely world-class. Like you look at Wolves, who are 17th, or I think they might still be there. They might have gone up a bit, but their wingers, Kuna, like, it's one of the best wingers in, like, it's ridiculous. The amount of wingers that are in the Prem is a joke. So we're going to concede goals next year, is my point. I think we will. I don't think we're going to have a great defensive record, and I don't think we should. I don't think that's going to happen. Burnley won't either.
But that's what I mean. Burnley will get beat down as well, and I don't think their goal output enough. They've got to score goals to stay up. But I do think
we can do that.
It's more important, and I know I know nobody likes hearing that because everybody says, no, you got to build from the back. But my point I'm trying to make is I'm not on about just going wildly forward and just trying to get 5 goals in every game. And just if we win 5-4, we win 5-4. You still need to be sensible at the back, but ultimately getting forward is the hardest thing to do. And we're currently really good at it. So I don't want us to lose that.
I don't think we will. I do think we need to improve on it. Obviously, I think we need a striker and a 10.
Yeah.
But assuming we do that and we still have these wingers, which are all really good in their own way, and we still got Perau, we'll chip in with goals. Let's be honest. I don't think we'll lose it. I'm not saying we'll score 90 goals, but I still think we'll be able to outscore a lot of opposition. And I think, and again, under Bielsa, that's what we did. we'd win 4-3, then we'd lose 4-3. You know, that's the way it was. And I enjoy that, to be honest, as a fan. I love it that way. If we're going into games and we're just kind of trying to scrape a 1-0, I just feel like we'll be heartbroken every game because it's just against world-class players who will have one moment and they'll score. So I feel like we need to, if we concede, right, can we score 2? We concede 2, can we score 3? I know it's a bit wild, but I think that's what we've got to do.
Yeah, we're going to concede, like you say, Lockie. It's not, you can be as defensively sound as you want, but ultimately when centre forward gets it and turns your centre back, who is turning Van Dijk if he wants, do you know what I mean, that day, in that one moment, and then he puts it in, you go, well, what defensively did we do wrong? I know there's always, if there's a goal gone in, there's always something gone wrong, but if you're just beating the man, or, you know, obviously we need to be strong from things like set pieces and dumb stuff like that. I don't want to be, I want to be really, that's what I mean about, I don't know if I said it live or to you before, Lockie, but I just want to be really competitive and like no silly goal or minimize silly goals, no keeper errors, no goals from corners, no goals from free kicks, you know what I mean? No silly penalties when we're 1-0 up and then there's just a stupid challenge. It's like we need to be so clever and like competitive.
So, that's what I was going to say, actually. You're right. Like, we will concede goals from open play, but I think set pieces are massive. If we can be decent defensively and better attack, that'll win you games. You know what I mean? Like, that's a big part of it. Again, cutting them silly mistakes out, being good from set pieces, you know, that'll save teams. I mean, it's like every game, it's frightening when a ball comes in that box and you've got Van Dijk or whoever it is. If they're probably going to score. So if you're good with set pieces, you can nullify 10, 15 goals against you a season.
Yeah,
that could be massive. And if you can score on the other end as well from them, this is corners as well. This is like free kicks, anything like that, because we're terrible at direct free kicks as well. We're so bad. So these little things can get you 1 point in a game. They can get you 3 points. It's so important to me. So if we can nullify them things as well, set pieces and stuff like that, and we can still score goals, you're kind of in a decent position, I think.
Yeah. I mean, some teams build the foundation off being good from set pieces, don't they? You know, and that is a legitimate way of competing in the Premier League, really, because nobody's getting free goals. Because I don't know for a fact, but I bet it's surprising how many of the top teams do get a couple of set pieces, you know, in one game and they win 2-0 or whatever, and it is 2 poor goals that they've scored. The other teams obviously conceded the poor goal because no such thing as a poor goal to score. But I bet that happens at or big goal, you know, when it's going against you, whatever. I don't know. It's definitely something we need to sort out.
The teams that win the league are usually the best on set pieces, which shows, and it does go under the radar because you'd expect, you know, teams at the top that are good football, you know, create chances, but a lot of it comes down to set pieces because it's a part of the game that people neglect, and it can get you 10, 15 points a season, which is massive. And we do need to improve that because our corners are not good enough for me, like consistently. We need some big lads in there. And we need a good corner taker and defensively. Well, I think we're good defensively, to be fair. I think we just get some on it, don't we? We just seem to get it out there.
We seem to sort that out. To be fair, I felt like we've looked really rigid and solid for about 10, 12 games, like even when we were going through that bit of a ropey spell, and I thought we do look strong from long throw-ins and stuff. We didn't look like, I know Mez flapped at a few and stuff, which didn't help us, but collectively I felt
we need a keeper that can command, don't we, as well?
Yeah. I was going to ask you what just in terms of people's future, Lockie, if you don't mind talking about what you reckon will happen to players. Because obviously Mez and Darla, what do you reckon happens to both of them, respectively?
Mez I can see him leaving, to be honest. I think I don't want it to be in a situation where he's made mistakes again. For us and for him. This again. You know, I don't want that. I don't want any of that stuff. I think we need to bring in a very assured, solid goalkeeper that is, you know, performing well in Europe or in whatever league. You know, Trafford would be the great one. But no, I'm kidding. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I think Darlow, I don't think he'd want to stay. I think he wants to play. That's why he came to us originally. But obviously Mez stayed. So he might go.
That's a bit of a concern, though, isn't it?
Yeah. We need to bring a number one, 100% for me.
Ideally, I'd keep Darlow and then bring in a number one, but he doesn't want that, does he?
I think he'll want to play, especially after getting this bit of a run at the end now. But this is it. This is the problems we're going to have. And again, just going through the rest of the team, like I said on Joe's, and I didn't mean this in a sentimental way. I want to keep most just because I think we need it. We already have a small squad, smallest in the Championship, which is crazy when you think about it. You know, like we lose say Mez goes, Darlow goes, Bamford goes. You know, a few of the youngsters go on loan. You're looking at a squad of 15, 16. Like,
it's crazy. It's scary.
It's not a lot. Yeah, so I think we need to keep most of them, even if they don't play. I just think just so they're there in case we need them. I think too many people online are always focused too much, for me personally, on can we get rid of this guy, Just bring more in. I think that's the key thing, because even this guy who might not be at the level, we might need him for a week or two. You know, this is the thing. We might need to rotate in the cups, for example, and stuff like that. So,
or the new player might not do it. I'm so sick of we get them out, and then we get one in, and then we think that's job done. It's like, that's not job done. This guy's got to cut it yet. You know, he might have a better CV or whatever, but that's why, like, I feel sorry for like Gruev and stuff, because he's getting it quite a bit online. Like, people are just like, out, get him out. Like, why do we need to get rid of Gruev? I mean, you might advocate him moving on, but why would you want to get rid of Gruev? Like, want to get rid of him? He's never put a foot wrong, has he? I can't think of one mistake he's ever made for us. I'm not saying I don't know his level. I don't know if he can be a Premier League, centre midfielder, solid centre mid. Probably not, if I had to guess. But we don't need him out. We just need better improvements, don't we? And then, like you say, 5, 6, 7 games in the next season, we're probably going to need Gruev.
This is it. It's whether he's good enough or not. This is the point. He's there though, and I'd rather him there than no one. You know, what's the alternative? We're going to bring in 3 midfield. I don't think that's going to happen. I do think we'll bring in 2 midfielders, maybe a deeper one and a number 8. But that's perfect, because then you've still got Ampadu fighting position, or you've still got Gruev in there. You've got Tanaka. Then you're looking at 5 midfielders to fill up 2 spots. That's good. That's healthy. But if you're getting rid of one of them, as we've seen this season, how many midfielders did we have? And then suddenly Ampadu's back in centre back, Rothwell's injured, and we've got none.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to be careful. So for me, I wouldn't let go of anyone. I genuinely wouldn't, unless they'll
be putting some hard yards in them centre midfielders next year, because they already do. They already do this year, don't they?
Hard.
There can't be a reason why they're not. There must be a reason why they've all got injured this year, bar Tanaka, I think. But they've all picked up knocks, and it's because they're flying about, aren't they? When teams are trying to break on us, they do put a big shift in, and it's going to be, or I'm hoping, going to be extremely physical for them 2 centre midders. So they're going to pick up knocks. We're going to need reinforcements.
Yeah, I never, just been in like doing recruitment and stuff. For me, I'm never bothered about who goes. It's who comes in. That's not who goes. Isn't my concern. That's that's like kind of up to the club or whoever is in charge. I don't care about that. He needs to go. No one needs to go. We just need to improve on it, like you said. That's the key thing. If for example we are starting with Bamford up top in the Premier League, you are asking yourself, why haven't we got a striker? Because I know, look, he can still do a bit, but his injury record is ridiculous.
I agree wholeheartedly.
You know what I mean? Like, we need to have Bamford, if he's staying, as 3rd, 4th choice, and that's okay. That's all right. Not as 1st or 2nd. So it's kind of like that all over the pitch for me. So I'm not interested in anyone going. I want a lot of improvements, but I'm not bothered about anyone going, because I think we need the depth everywhere. I don't think we have it, apart from maybe 2 or 3 positions.
And the sort of the good position we're in as well, Lockie, is everybody's played, haven't they? All these players that we're discussing have actually played quite a significant part. It's not like, barring sort of like Gilavogi, we sort of drafted in, just because it went a bit tits up, didn't it, in centre mid, like say with injuries and stuff. Other than that, they've all contributed. And obviously some younger lads like Gray's not played and stuff. I know he got injured and all that stuff. He maybe got more minutes throughout the season, but they've all played a part in it. So they've all done the job. So I just think it's I don't know, and they won't be on ludicrous amounts of money, I won't imagine. Gruev will be. I mean, I don't know, but there's not going to be much of a wage because the wages are going to go up in general anyway, aren't they, for anybody we sign?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But this is like, I was going to ask you actually on this, based on assuming we bring in a striker and maybe a 10 and a centre back, do you reckon anyone goes out on loan? Matteo Joseph, Harry Gray, maybe.
I'm not sure if they'll loan Gray for some reason. I don't know what they'll do with him though. But I mean, FARKE mentioned him today, didn't he, in press conference, saying he got a bit giddy in that. And to be honest, I did actually think that myself, because I know you put you put in group like it's mint, and it was mint, him dancing and that. But I did think, and then FARKE, that's why I love FARKE. Yeah. Just like, I'm not too sure about this. But I think, everybody's going on about Joseph getting loaned out. And I don't know where Joseph goes, what he does. Probably if we do bring someone in, if we've got, reluctant to say Bamford because everybody goes for it, but if we've got Bamford, Perau, and another striker, Joseph's not really going to, and Joseph's not going to get anywhere near, as you say, probably will get loaned out. We're at that stage now, like Gray's not going to want to be in the under 21s, is he? I think he's already on.
That's the thing. Yeah.
He's on a trajectory, and he believes, I would imagine he believes in himself. He's not going to want to mess about, I don't think. But I think, is he just turned 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he's turning, around, I think so, yeah.
I think I don't think they'll loan him out on that basis. I think you can keep him round squad without him getting in way. I think he can learn more being in the Premier League with some proper decent signings coming in. But Joseph, I think really has to go out on loan, because I don't know how else he's going to prove himself, really, because he's not going to get inside.
If he'd have had a good season, he had a good start. I'm not going to take that away from him. I thought he was really good at his first 5 or 6 games. I thought it was excellent. But he lost his confidence, didn't he? We all know that. We all saw it. He didn't get enough game time. He weren't playing as much, so he lost his confidence. He didn't score goals. He kept missing chances. I think if he'd have had a consistent season where he scored at the start and then he kept his kind of run going, we're looking at this now going, we've got an unbelievable 21-year-old that's going to light it up. But I think he needs that Championship loan, a good one. I think next year, if he went on loan somewhere in the Championship, a decent side, fighting for the top 6, and he can proper get involved and score some goals, I think that'd be excellent for him. But yeah, I just think from not playing in the Championship to being part of the Premier League squad might be a little too much for him first season. But he can get there. I think he can. He just needs a season where it works for him, where he plays.
Yeah.
And he's got to play, and I think, and that's what he's got to play next year as Joseph.
Yeah, he'll get old quick if not. Do you know what I mean? You lose your years pretty quick.
22, I think.
Yeah, which still, I'm still envious of his youth. Do not get me wrong, absolutely. But his career will hold up a little bit, and he'll end up falling quite. He's at a big club that's gone up with massive aspirations. Like, it's going to be difficult to stay in this side anyway, and he's not had the best season this year. He needed to, like you say, light it up really, or at least get some look like a goal scorer. Like, that's the one thing I'm going to talk about Perau here, because obviously he's going to get golden boot, chipped in with assists as well. And we're on about replacing him. So and I'm kind of on board with that. I think if we can get a proper mint number 9 in, and that, I mean, that's the harshness that we're on about. So with Joseph, it's like,
Yeah, I'll just look there. He turns 22 in October, so start of the season he'll be 22, and and then at the end of that he'll be 23, and he's not played another season. You want him to play. So for me, I think it'd be good for him and us to loan him out. And he can get he's a good young player. He'll get a good loan, 100%. But yeah, Perau's it's a weird play because he is ridiculously good finisher, and on his day he is unplayable. I just think he lacks. What is it? What does he lack? He lacks something for me. Is it that kind of killer aggression? Or I look at number 9s in the Prem and they're all just killers. Do you know what I mean? He's got, in front of goal he is, but I just feel he misses that kind of anger and a bit of aggression. I don't know. It's something about his game that's a little flat at times.
Lack of selfishness as well. He doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want him to start moaning or all, but sometimes you don't get many reactions out of him or all.
Yeah.
He seems all right with everything, doesn't he? And like I say, if you're going to be a killer, there's got to be a bit of an edge to you. But that also makes him so calm in front of goal. So it's kind of what he's got in general, isn't it? But
he's one of them for me, mate, where he's a perfect option for us in Prem. I don't mean option as in like, yeah, I can bring him. I think he can impact a game.
Yeah, I do.
If it's a game where it's quick paced and you've got quick players around him, it's in that box. Yeah, like Joe said, he'll score goals. And that's valuable in the Prem, as we just spoke about. And he will score goals because he's the type of player where it doesn't matter what league he's in, he'll score goals.
No, it doesn't.
His ball striking is excellent. You know what I mean? He'll find the corners. He's good at finishing it. Do that at any level he could. It's just the other side of it, the pace of it and stuff like that worries me. But yeah, I think we need to bring in I don't know who. I don't know who that could be. I ain't got the answers for that. Obviously, I'll do some videos in a few months, but I'm not prepared for that yet. So I don't know who that is yet. But we need someone that's proven in, I'd say, one of the top 5 leagues that they can get some goals. I don't think they have to be 30 goal a season or 20 goal, but someone that, can proper mix it physically as well and just get involved and hold up play, link up play type player for me.
Yeah.
What profile would you want as a striker, Jack, do you reckon, for Leeds up top?
Somebody like Ireland would be all right, wouldn't it?
That'd be decent, yeah.
Be all right.
How long's he got left on his contract? 9 years?
He was watching us, wasn't it, other day, put on his Snapchat, so he's still interested.
I'm telling you now, when he's 34, 35, he'll have one season at Leeds. I can feel it.
I don't think it's a ridiculous shout, I think once he's like on the down where really, because we could be a top 6 side by then, quite solidly, and just think, we'll get Ireland in for a couple of years. Like, no worries.
Be mint, wouldn't it?
And you don't ever know what's going to happen with Man City, so who knows. But yeah, I just want. I'm going to end up saying the same thing for every player in every position, but just pick competitive footballers, young, hungry, and I don't mean you can still be young and established. I just want players like Ollie Watkins that'll put themselves about when they're not banging goals, and they'll put themselves about, get stuck in. I know we're not going to be able to achieve Ollie Watkins now at this point, but players like that just do plenty when it's not going well, and you just think, well, at least, I mean, I don't want to say Smith because his goal record was terrible for us, but just players like that when we're in Premier League and it were like we're up against it here, and we had Bowyer and Smith, and you just thought, and like Batty in middle, and I'm naming some unbelievable players here in fairness, but proper competitive footballers, and we were never getting beat, just getting battered. We never got battered. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there will be occasions when we got badly beat, but we'd turn up at Ellen Road against Man U or whatever and think, no, if we turn up today, we're in with a proper chance here. And I don't think you have to be a top team to be like that. Like I said, Stoke were like that for very different ways, but teams can do it. Just has to be.
That's it. It's weird though, because I look at Chris Wood, right? That's a random shout, but before he got injured, he was absolutely smashing it at Forest.
Yeah.
And he's not quick. He's not particularly quick, agile. Look at Perau, and kind of.
But he's big, isn't he?
He is a big, strong lad, yeah.
Chris Wood's a nightmare, though, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? That's actually a really good example, Lucky. Because if Perau had that bit of Chris Wood to him, because he's a big bloke.
Because he has got it. He's got the frame.
He does have the frame.
Yeah.
And it took Chris Wood. I mean, I've always rated Chris Wood, to be fair. I actually think he gets a bit of stick, and he's had it. When he'll look back at his career, he'll have made everything out of himself. Do you remember Kevin Davis? Yeah, for Bolton.
I played with his son at uni.
Oh, really? Yeah. Were you in a decent?
Kyle, yeah, decent.
Yeah.
Midfielder, very different player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, agile, more agile, and
because he was
tall,
just
quite thin.
Big, horrible bastard as well up top, and winning headers, and which I don't know. I don't want a hit man, I mean, Kevin Davis is a bit more of a hit man, but
you want a bit of an all rounder, don't you? You can just get involved and get about a bit, and score some goals, and beat his chest when he scores, and go at the crowd. One of them.
Yeah, that's why it's a shame about Joseph, because I'm kind of describing Joseph, but just without having a good year under his belt. Really, it'd have been good for him just to, even if he got 10, 12 goals or something this season, you thought I say even, because that'd be, a pretty good return without goal scoring's gone this year, because, Perau's done well in the past few weeks to get numbers up, but 15 goals before the 4, I'm not knocking Perau. 19 goals is 19 goals, but Well, no, 19 goals is 19 goals. So I'm not gonna. All goals are goals. So it's a good return. And to be fair, most goal scorers get, I mean, when Bamford had that brilliant year in Prem, he got, I think he got hat-tricked, didn't he, at Aston Villa and stuff. So that bumps your numbers up. You have to have days where you just light it up, don't you? So
that's Bamford's like, obviously not the same play now, but that Premier League Bamford is what we need.
Yeah.
Because he could score that season. He was ridiculous at scoring. He got assists as well. But build-up play and running behind, he could do either of it. He's kind of like that. In a way, it's kind of like Delap at Ipswich. Obviously, he's going to go above us. He's going to go to probably Champions League.
I mean, his return's been brilliant.
Yeah, that profile that can just do a bit of everything. Even when he's not scoring, he can drive up, take people on, drive with the ball. You know what I mean? I think it's really important. You need quite an athletic kind of striker. But then again, you look at Chris Wood and he's not, but he's athletic in the way that he can use his body really well and score goals. So they need to have physicality to him, whatever that is, I think.
Yeah. Like you say, when they can carry ball, and Bamford can carry ball, or certainly could in his prime, where it gets you out so much bother when your centre forward can just go, I'm not even aiming for goal here. We're just going over that way, and I'm just going to take the ball 40 yards. Do you know what I mean? Just take it out of the way of everybody.
Yeah. Because when we're going to be under pressure a lot next season, if you can just give a ball and there's an outlet there, you know he's going to be there, and he can just hold it up and then just either win a foul or take his man on, and he creates you a chance out of nothing. It takes the pressure off you. It's so important. We saw it. Bamford did it when he came on after his injury. Them first 2 games he came on, and we were struggling. We were pinned in. Bamford comes on, and then suddenly he's just there. Ball to him, wins a foul, gets up the pitch. It's an important thing, and I do think we lack that with Perau. I think Perau's better when you play it to his feet and your players around him. He's not really a guy who can hold it up by himself and win a foul, is he? I think we need that physical. Yeah, I've said it before, but we need that guy for me. I think that's
a bit of ring craft, isn't it? Winning fouls, and I mean, I can't think of many fouls he's won. Whereas every time Bamford's on for a minute and a half, and he's won 2 fouls, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And it's not about winning fouls, but you have to have that. No, I need to. We're stuck here. Let's take the game. Let's take the sting out of the game. I'm going to go over. I'm going to occupy the defenders a little bit.
Yeah. We do need that. We need a lot. I saw someone mention actually Enciso in the chat. I don't know if he's on loan from Brighton at Ipswich.
Yeah.
What a player he is.
Yeah.
By the way, I'd love him. I think they're willing to sell him as well because he's on loan at Ipswich. So he's number 10. He's just creative, and it was a while ago, mate. I don't know if you can find it, but
I don't know.
He's someone like that in the middle. When you've got a striker like that and some quick wingers, you need that. Just that Pablo.
Yeah.
Just do anything on the ball. Do you know what I mean? I think we need one of them. A little bit of gold dust in there as well.
Yeah.
Someone like that.
What do you think to wingers, Lockie? Because we spoke about Solomon on Just Joe's, and you'd sign Solomon.
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I do want. He's another one that it was good in the Prem, but he wasn't that consistent even when he was fit. But I think the fact that we have James, Nonto, and Ramazani means if Solomon isn't on it, you do have some top options. I do expect Ramazani to get better next year. I think now he's in the Prem. I do feel it might suit him better. A lot of people said that, but I do agree. I think it might. I think it suits Nonto better as well.
I think it suits them all, but barring maybe James, who will be very effective in a different way. I think all 3 of them, Solomon, Ramazani, and Nonto, are better prepared for the Prem. I honestly do.
They're kind of all good options without being outstanding, but I'm all right with that.
Yeah,
because there's 4 of them, and they'll all chip in for me. So I like our wingers. Although there is some wingers in Europe that I really want, but can't be greedy. You know.
Well, obviously,
honestly.
Well, yeah, the best part. I mean, we spoke about it before, haven't we? But it's the most fun part. I mean, that Yamel fella last night, just like,
oh my God, 17,
it's mad, isn't it? I know, it's mad,
mental. It's like young Messi. Watching young Messi, not even young Messi, just Messi 3 or 4 years ago. Just run, he didn't even do all. He just ran. That's all he did, and you just couldn't get near him. He didn't do tricks or out, did he?
No, there's no need, is there?
Yeah, crazy. I love wingers. I love watching good wingers, like Rafinha, obviously. You know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like Trafford, like Joe.
I know. Don't worry, we're not leaving here. I'm not leaving here, Lockie, without getting stuck into Trafford. Believe me, it's wrote down at bottom of my notes here, like Trafford. Well, let's do that. Let's do the Trafford now to break it up a bit, and then we'll get into weekend.
Yeah.
Why would Trafford ever be the player of the season this year?
I honestly, mate, I'm sorry to defend the goalkeepers. It balls me. I don't enjoy.
You said something really funny, dude, in group. I think it was yesterday, and you put, when you do your players' ratings, I don't even bother with keepers because who cares?
Unless they've done something like
quality,
I just leave it.
Yeah,
I can't be asked. There you go, CBA. I just can't. It's. What do you say? He made a good save today.
Yeah, and they always get a comment. Everybody, I've said a couple of times when Darlow got him, we're all like, "Oh, I made a good save," like nice one. But how much do you want to talk about? You're talking about goals. Do you know what I mean? For a couple of minutes,
feet, man. They use their hands. Like that's what, like Trafford's win, and he obviously is a quality goalkeeper. But we're saying, so a guy that's going to win it is a guy that, or Joe thinks a guy that should win it is a guy that makes some saves. What about the people that are taking people on, hitting it top corner, tearing teams apart? These are the players that should win player right here. This is football. It's entertainment. I don't care about. It's
so obvious to me, man. And the more I've not stopped thinking about it since he said it, to be honest. Because he mentioned the world class save, and he said, "Oh, there's not a player. What did he say? There's not a keeper in the world that had saved this." And then I thought it hit bar, and it turned out Trafford had saved it. So that's one save, right? That he's stuck out in his mind, which is absolutely fine. That's a brilliant save. And then he saved 2 penalties, which I knew he'd mentioned the penalties. Saved 2 penalties in one game, right? So what? So 2 penalties and 1 save that you don't think anybody else in the world could make. That does not make you the best player in the league. It just can't.
But
it's
then
impossible.
Even like, just from like, if Trafford played for us and he did that, could I genuinely give it to a goalkeeper? I just couldn't. After everything that Dan James, even Tanaka's done. How many times have we watched Tanaka this year and gone, oh my God? How many times have we watched Dan James and gone, oh my God, what have you just done? The goalkeeper, you go, oh, great save. But that's it. You know what I mean?
And it saves they should make, isn't it? They do stuff they should do. And then when you've got a keeper that doesn't do what, and that's what I'm saying. You can do 2 penalty saves and a world-class save that you don't think anybody else in the world can save. That's brilliant, and you're an exceptional keeper. All the other stuff you do is stuff you should do. That's why defenders don't win the Ballon d'Ors for winning the most amount of headers, do they? Defensive headers. It's like you should be winning. That is what you're there to do. It's not the hardest thing to do on the field. The hardest thing to do on the field is beat players and score goals.
There's a reason why, and I'm assuming this is for most teams, why the top paid people are not the goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Because you want to watch best attackers in the world. You just want a decent goalkeeper. I think every top goalkeeper is a decent goalkeeper, obviously. But, like you said, watching Yamal yesterday, are you ever going to watch a goalkeeper and get that excited? Do you know what I mean?
No.
Football's entertainment. I
like some keepers. There's some keepers I really like, and I like them when you're looking through like old school world class sides and stuff like Buffon and Nor. And I can't say Nor, but I saw a compilation of that nutty German keeper. I forgot his name now. Oliver Kahn. You can be an iconic keeper, but are you the best player in the world? I don't know. Or the best player in the league. It's just crazy.
It can't be. If Trafford's doing what he's doing and then he's scoring like 10 free kicks a season, maybe. Yeah. I mean, there was a keeper that did that actually in Brazil. He scored a ridiculous amount of free kicks.
Is it Chilavert?
I don't know his name. I don't know.
There was a guy called Chilavert when I was really young, but I think he was from Paraguay. Did you say Paraguay?
I think he played in Brazil. There might be a few, to be fair.
Well, because he used to take pens and free kicks, and he was honestly unreal at him. Chilavert. I'll send you a compilation of him. It was awesome.
He's better than Trafford because he can. You know what I mean? He's getting goal involvements as a goalkeeper.
And like Edison being able to pump ball about like he does, getting assists and that. He's an outfield player, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he makes some decent saves, doesn't he? So I don't know.
I can't. Best player in the league's a goalkeeper.
They have to be so mind-blowingly like brand new what he were doing. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Just making odd save and digging your team out every now and again. I tried to work it out the other day, but I got bored. But I reckon if he's saved a couple of penalties, that's in one game, so that's 3 points potentially he's held on to. This world class save that Joe loves, 6 points. if that was to lose, it might only be a 2-point save because it might have gone to a draw or whatever. But it probably, knowing Burnley, it was probably 0-0 and he pulled that save out. Say if he got 12 points from this season, which I think would be a huge ask for a goalkeeper to get that amount of points. How many points has a goal scorer got you? Like, how many points has Perau got us this season?
Yeah, take Perau's goals, take James's goals. Like, how many points is that? Take James's goals out of it, we're probably drawing a lot of games.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's just like it don't make any sense. To be fair, because that Hamer won it, didn't he? And I've not seen a ludicrous amount of Hamer, so I'm not going to pretend. But I'm not sure he should have won it either. Really,
I think this is completely biased, obviously, because I'm a Leeds fan. But I think he's a good player, but I just feel like there's probably 7 or 8 Leeds players that played better this year.
I do
think that.
And
yeah,
we've I mean, Burnley have put that points up, but they haven't had outstanding players like we have. They've done it a very different way. We've been the best. It's just, I don't know. I thought that thing that Joe read out with Betfred or whoever it was that did that thing on him about Perau not being in there and stuff. And it's like, it ain't right, really. They've tried to make it sort of even, or potentially tried to wind us up a bit because it's good press in it. It is good press, though, and big sweat.
But if we're being completely unbiased, which we're not, but for me, I understand the Burnley thing, but I think you have Esteve in there definitely. But for me, Rodon's. I like the other guy, that Egan Riley, but I think Rodon's better than him. I think if Rodon was in that Burnley defence, it's probably slightly better, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'd have stuck him in. I think Firpo's got to be in there. He's been ridiculous.
Firpo not being in.
And Perau. And I didn't even like the Borja Signs one, and I said this in the chat.
Yeah.
He had a ridiculously good first half, but he scored, I think, 2 goals since, I think it was January.
Yeah.
Solomon scored about 7 or 8 since. Like, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said on Joe's. Like, Solomon wasn't even in the conversation, and I could make a better case for it being Solomon over Trafford. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not, and he's not even in the conversation. So there's so many players I'd go to before I got to. Probably, in fairness to Hamer, probably before him as well. So, but I do only really watch Leeds and then other games. So I am unbelievably biased. But
yeah, and to even it out, Brownhill definitely should be in there as well. Like, to even it out, his numbers from midfield are ridiculous.
Yeah,
I imagine Tanaka had them numbers. I know they play slightly different roles and stuff. But
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
mental, won't we? Yeah, so could be at least 7 Leeds players in there. If I'm being fair.
I
stick them all in. Why not?
Well, we've been best team, haven't we? But there'd be a few, emissions. But other than that, like you say, it'd be 6.
Yeah.
If we're being kind, but
just Rodon's got to be in there, hasn't he?
I thought Rodon. But I went along with Joe to appease him because obviously we had to say that Burnley are obviously good defensively, but that doesn't mean that they've been the best centre backs.
The player.
Yeah. Like, we were on about how valuable they were. It's like, well, Rodon's unbelievably valuable to us. Like, so.
Yeah. Like, you put Rodon. If Rodon's at Burnley, he starts on that right side for me.
Yeah.
You had Esteve on the left and Rodon on the right. That's ridiculous. That's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
Just want to address that, Lockie. Would you go for Nick Pope? Because obviously he's out of favour at Newcastle.
I would. I don't know. I think he plays, doesn't he?
I thought he did. But somebody put in chat of the day that they've gone to that.
I don't watch much at Prem this season, to be honest.
No, I am. So I've neglected football, other than obviously Championship.
He's made 24 appearances, so
I thought he was still playing, but have they opted for that Bravka or something recently?
No, he's played. He played the first 15, got an injury, came back. We're on the bench, and he's played the last 8. I mean, I would 100% take Nick Pope.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought when not John LUFC Garside, he might have been stung by somebody telling us that the Bravka's been favourite, but I thought that can't be right. I think Nick Pope's. I mean, I know he's not great with his feet, but on that Trafford hype, he's a good goalkeeper, isn't he?
Yeah, he literally played last game. Yeah.
Yeah, I just checked last game. Yeah. Would you take Ramsdale, who's obviously gone down again, hasn't he? Relegation merchant.
Honestly, you know what, mate? I don't know much about him. I've not seen that much with him. I really haven't. I don't actually know. Is he that good? I don't know.
Well, you're at Arsenal, wasn't he? Obviously.
He was, yeah.
And he played for a season, didn't he? And then Arteta fell out with him, didn't he?
It's quite
I
good
thought
at
he was
starting
quite
his hour or
good.
something. I probably would take him, yeah.
Because there were a lot of people that asked. I mean, I remember when they brought that Raya in, and I actually thought it were a bit harsh on Ramsdale, really. But they obviously Arteta wanted it. He has ended up being proven right with that because that Raya's brilliant, isn't he?
Good, yeah.
He's not as good as Trafford, but he's good. He's very good. But I mean, it's just again, keepers that get relegated, they get pounded, don't they? It's put them in a decent side. They can all stop shots, can't they?
Yeah.
It's just the Melier mistakes that you need to get rid of, and then
like this is what annoyed me about Melier. Like 1-on-1, he was a joke. He was so good. And if you look at that, you got bloody hell. Like the amount of points he saved us, from 1-on-1s and charging out and diving onto the ball. I thought what he's really good at, apart from once where he hesitated and they scored. That was the one time he got it wrong. He's usually good at coming out. He makes that decision. Whereas Darlow's a bit more hesitant. But it's just the ones that were really close to him. He seemed to struggle. I don't know what it is. The ones that were kind of here, went under his arm. They were, how's that happening? You know what I mean? And then obviously his drops that he liked to do every now and again. Yeah. We need a new goalkeeper, don't we? I think that's fair to say.
It's a really difficult position, isn't it? As much as we're saying that they're not allowed to be players at season, but because there's no guarantee with Trafford that I don't want to keep banging on about Trafford. I can't help myself. There's no guarantee that he'll be good next year, though, in Prem. Because Burnley will be getting peppered in whether they're getting hammered or not.
Got relegated and conceded goals every week.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a different level. Like the level between the Prem and the Championship is a joke. It's an absolute joke. I'd love him, mate, but he's gonna go.
That comes up a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, he's got to go to somebody decent.
He'll go top. I think somewhere like Newcastle maybe to replace Pope or something like that. I can see. I would love him. He's a quality guy, but he's played so much this year for Liverpool that his value's just shot up. He's been good as well. Yeah,
he has been good.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I'd love him. But nah, I'd take Pope. I'd be buzzing with that. If we brought Nick Pope in, played a lot this year for Newcastle. That'd be mint. That.
Yeah. I think I obviously don't know what they'll want to be doing transfer wise next year, Newcastle, but I think they'll want to probably hold on. I mean, he's not deteriorating or all, is he? So
no,
I can't see him wanting rid. Really, I don't think they'll be signing the keeper, and that the Bravka's not that bad. I think he's pretty decent.
Yeah, he's all right as well. He's just a bit rogue. He's got some weird.
Yeah, he's flaky, isn't he? Yeah, he's daft, isn't he? Some keepers are a bit daft out there. They come flying out or whatever. Have you seen that mental save he makes where he comes out, I don't even know who he's playing for at the time, but he comes out to edge at box and he's going to slide out an area with it. So he lets go of it. I'll send you, it's well funny. He lets go of it and then there's like a melee in the box and then he's scrambling over about 3 players and he pulls this like unbelievable save off that he's totally caused. It's proper funny save, but you don't want that. You don't want that heart attack every time.
We want just a calm influence that Nick
and a leader.
Yeah, someone like that. But he'll probably he's played loads. Shame. Yeah, but that's true actually on Trafford. He was linked heavily to Newcastle. Gavin's just said it there. He was linked to Newcastle in January. So I think they are preparing to replace him.
Right. Was that not due to his injury though?
Maybe. When did he get that actually?
Because I seem to genuinely that's triggered something. I think they were looking for a replacement on the basis that he'd got injured, and they were worried about it.
Right. Yeah, he got injured in December, so that would make sense. Yeah.
A melee in the box. Is that what I said? I meant to say I said What I can't remember what I said.
A melee. Yeah,
a melee. That's what I said. Yeah, melee in the box. That might be how we keep him alive. Well, not alive. It's harsh. I mean, within the fan base, because I'm gonna miss saying Mez silent S. Really, it's gonna be a shame.
Yeah, there might be a new keeper that's got a silent S though.
Yeah, and I just can always get to Strout because he's got more like silent letters than
he's not
anybody.
Pascal.
No,
you like him around.
What do you reckon? Not Monday, Saturday then. Lockie, because obviously they're down, aren't they? Bester, with all respect to them, they need 12 goals or something, do they? And barring a complete, session that the lads have been on, I can't see us We've been beat 1-0 4 times.
Is it going too well?
Possibly.
Just like a crappy little draw, and then we'll just finish second or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going so well in it. We're going to win league.
They've got Millwall, haven't they?
Yeah, if the footballing gods give us one thing, like, oh yeah, you're not going to win league though. But,
yeah,
I don't know. We should win, shouldn't we? Let's be honest. We should do. It'd be a good game. I just think these lads just look proper confident, don't they? They're loving it. They're proper enjoying it at the moment.
Yeah, it's like the push as well. The push to the championship, and it's that's what it felt like with Bristol. It were like, go on now, boys, just go and absolutely prove to everybody that we are like the best team in the league.
Ampadu's after game on pitch when they're doing things with players, interviews with players, and during celebrations on pitch. I went to Ampadu. He's straight up like, yeah, not won the league yet. That's like, I love what you're doing. You can enjoy yourself a little bit, though. He's just like, still got a job to do. It's like, that's my captain. Go on. Like,
he's a beast, isn't he? I do love Ampadu. Do you think Pascal will stay vice captain and stuff next year? And like, what happens to Mez? Were they joint vice captains, Lockie, or were it second and third? Do you know?
Second and third. I think they were the leadership kind of group
right.
on it. You had Ampadu, who was it? Yeah, it was Strauch and Meslier, which is interesting. But I think it was the ones that have been there the longest is what he went with. So you'd assume if that's the same thing, probably. But yeah, I don't know. I think Ampadu captain, I'm absolutely fine with. I do think we need like just some. Look, I've said this, and this is going to get shot down. I'd bring Milner back in a heartbeat.
Sentimental FC, isn't it, Lockie?
Yeah. I think you know what it is, mate. I really do think we need some proper experience. It's like he's won the Champions League, Prem, he's won everything. Like, imagine him talking to some of these young lads when it's difficult in the Prem. There's not a better player to have in the world for Leeds.
And
go on,
sorry, dude.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm not saying start him or play him, which I still think he can do. He was playing for Brighton before he got injured. But having him there for one season, the first season in the Prem, right? That's all it'll be. First season in the Prem when you need to stay up. Having him there, if you're on a difficult run, is so important for me. Someone like that, I just think it'd be great. And like I said, he was playing for Brighton before he got injured, so he's not fully gone. You know, if Gilavogue is leaving, you need to replace that for me. I just think it'd be perfect. I don't know.
There's no such thing. There's no how best to phrase it? Basically, there's no pro. I can't think of many pros in my whole life that I've known like Milner. Yeah, he's a proper pro, isn't he? I mean, the way he's looked after himself. Well. Oh, absolutely. And what I would say, Lockie, as well, every time he's gone, you felt like he's gone that. I mean, obviously after Man City, because I think he went to Villa and then to Man City. So obviously that's a step up. But once he left Man City and went to Liverpool, I thought he was over exceeding himself slightly at Man City. Went to Liverpool and they started winning everything. And I'm not saying that's down to Milner, but he played a huge part in it. Then he goes to Brighton. Brighton are excellent. And he's still around there. Do you know what I mean? He's still playing. He's still got plenty, like I said before his injury, got plenty of minutes. And we were talking earlier about closing games out and how we don't necessarily want to do that. Well, Milner can come on, close a game out by still giving you that Premier League bite, can't you? That you're not closing the game out, you're just bringing on a Premier League Donny. Do you know what I mean? That just knows how to get games done.
It's like not all recruitment should be this, but I just think getting that one guy in, and it's not anyone, it's James Milner. He's a Leeds lad. It's where he started his career. Imagine ending it and keeping this team in the Prem or doing what we can do with us for that first season. I just think it'd be perfect. It's not just them, that little bit of wisdom and leadership when you're in a squad, like when we got relegated and that squad was in that lull. If you've got a guy like Milner there, he might just be that guy that can get you out of it because he understands the club. He came through the ranks. He's a Leeds lad. He started here. Like, he's won absolutely everything domestically. Everything.
He's literally the only thing we've got left, really. Yeah. Other than the Greys, that's what he's the last remnants of what we once had 20 odd years ago. Do you know what I mean? Then he's gone on to be a unbelievable footballer, like say, and have an unbelievable career. It'd be brilliant.
You're right. He is old, but this is like I'm not buying him in a player. He might need to play a little bit, and he still can. By that, like I say, he started for Brighton before he got injured.
Yeah, But he can do right back and stuff, can't he? He can play everywhere as well. He can do 20 minutes.
He might play 5 or 6 games. He might come on the last 20 minutes of each game, but he's there. And it's, for me, we really need that. I think before we got Gilavogi, and we lacked that massively, in my opinion. And I know he gets memed for being cheerleader, but I think if you ask any player, any of the young lads, how big of an inspiration was, they'll all talk so highly of him, because a guy's coming in who's played in the Champions League, he's played for France, and every one of these young players is looking up to him and said, "I want to do that." So they listen to him. You know what I mean? And this is the same for Milner. Not only is he a Leeds lad, but he's won the Champions League, he's won the Premier League, he's been how many appearances in the Premier League? One of the top of all time.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah,
like
he's never been out of it.
Year, exactly. Just for 1 year to have him in for someone that's been in the top flight for how long? Since he was 18, 17,
maybe younger. Yeah,
joined us. It's insane. That's longevity is ridiculous. So there's not a better role model for me in football at Leeds than James Milner. So that's my case for James Milner.
Yeah, I honestly agree. I don't see the harm it can do, and I think ultimately he has to go somewhere, because he's not, unless he just knocks it on Ed. But I don't think he'll want to knock it on Ed in the fashion that he has done. When, like you say, if there's a potential promotion team like his old club coming up, if the stars are not aligning for that, then I don't know what they are. Do you know what I mean? We're coming up with all this backing. He gets to be a huge part of it. Probably play more than we're expecting to, because we probably will need to rely on him a little bit more. Like you say, if it gets a bit sticky, even if he starts a game, plays 60 minutes, sort of gets the tempo going, gets the right energy going. Like the goings get tough, get Milner in. You know what I mean? For 60 minutes, then you bring him off. It's like, it'd be so useful, and it'd be another captain.
Yeah, that's it. I was looking at last season when Brighton were talking about all the bleep tests, and they were joking because 38-year-old Milner was still winning everyone.
Yeah, he's a monster.
And he's always stayed like that his entire career, hasn't he? Gilavogi is a different type of player. Obviously, his legs are gone, and you can tell. I don't think they're not what they used to be by any means, and you can't rely on him to start a long period of games. But he'll still be able to sit there and play it and make some tackles. That's what he's always done. But for me, just that experience and everything he's done in his career, Leeds are back in the Prem. Perfect for me. It's perfect. I don't know.
It won't give anything less than. And I'm talking about 100% as in, because they're all going to give 100% Europe next year. But in every bit of the role that he gets, he'll come on for 3 or 4 minutes with 100% energy ready to give. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just how he is. I mean, I saw an interview of him the other day actually, and he were on about, I can't remember the manager that dropped him, or they were trying to sell him and they never got rid of him, and it all fell through. And then he didn't start him. He didn't even put him in squad, and he were like banging on manager's door, just like going, why am I not even in the squad? You said you still wanted me and stuff. And he said he'd never do that again, but so then he said, that's my point. So then he said, so I got out on training pitch that week and I was just annihilating everybody. I was running around like a nutter, putting it in. Like that's how he's the type of lad that if he gets pissed off, he won't go to the pub, he'll go out for a jog, won't he? That's how he relieves. Do you know what I mean? That's who he is.
But he doesn't drink. He doesn't do any of that, does he? His body's so good because he doesn't do all like that. Yeah, I bet he eats good food as well. He's one of my favourite players. I absolutely love him. But he's just a perfect role model as well. He's not changed at all. He even looks the same as he did when he started.
He does, He never ages. It's a beast.
And just imagine, some of these young lads, the train, it's difficult in the Prem, the training's dropped a little bit. He'll be the one to sort it out. And they can't speak to him because he's won everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the standard set, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
This is how it has to be. Even when we're shit and we're losing games, it's like, no, this is why this is the only way we'll get back on the bandwagon, by setting these standards.
Exactly. Perfect for me, mate.
What would you do about that one, Lockie? KP?
I love KP in the sense that
they're nuts.
I do love him. It's like similar when you listen to some of his interviews and stuff, like growing up. A lot of it are similar. He's a Leeds lad. I'm not from Leeds, but similar area that you grew up to, similar stuff you used to do after school. It's very similar to what you used to do.
Yeah.
And it's proper relatable, and it makes you smile a bit. So I love him, I do, and he was an unbelievable player for us. But that one's it's more difficult because he's not going to be brought in for the same things Milner's. Although he did win a treble, let's be honest, he weren't a key player in it. But I don't know. I'm honestly undecided on that one. What about you, Jack?
I fleet in and out for some reason. So when it first came up, I think it might have been me and you, Lockie, were live, or definitely Joe. But it was just like you'd take him back when when I didn't know whether we were up or not. I was like, oh, definitely, I definitely have him back. And now I'm sort of like, I want to see what we get up to. I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's why Milner's a no-brainer for me, just because of his age. I know his age is actually what we're saying is against him, but like he comes in with a different role. He's not there to get in the way. He's there to make sure, like we've just said, all the things we've just said. Whereas I'm not saying Phillips would come in and kick a stink out because he wouldn't, but he doesn't want to sit on the bench, does he? And he doesn't want to be a bit part player. He will want to come back to Leeds as the Leeds man again, won't he? And be the centre midfielder that he was for us under Bielsa. So, and if he's not, have we got a bit of dead wood in the squad when we could have really gone out and got some more competitive? I'll keep saying competitive. I need to think of another word, but just something that's more correct for the system, or
See what Rysel said there about when he goes back to Leeds. Is that what makes him the player he was before? That's kind of what I'm.
Yeah,
because it's home to him. That is his home, and I look, whether it be my top 3 or 5, probably not. It probably won't be. I want players that are in form, right? I do. I want players that are playing well, and he hasn't played well for a few years. I think he's had some good stints at Ipswich. I think he's died off though. I don't know. I've not watched. I'll be honest, but I'd probably just want players that have been playing for me.
Yeah, it's risky,
but there's always that, like you said there. If I going back to Leeds, is that the catalyst where he's at home now and he performs better? He's at home, he's at Ellen Road. It's his home, it's what he grew up on. Does that make him perform better? But it's a risk, isn't it? Because you don't know. Has he lost his kind of edge? Has he lost that? Did he need Bielsa because of how well they kept him? Because he did keep him very well.
And he was so integral to how we played, wasn't he? And we didn't have anybody like him.
Yeah. It was so good. It was so good. It's a shame. It is a shame, to be honest.
Man City have ruined him a little bit, haven't they? To be honest, because he was still
good move in terms of he won a treble and he got that experience, but there's just always too much competition.
I do. If he were good enough, he'd have got inside, though. That's my only thing I would say about Guardiola. He would have got in, but Rodri got injured, didn't he? And he was done by then with Phillips. So I don't know. I'd take him back, but again, if that was it's like we just said, I'd keep Bamford for another year. I just can't see why not. But if we start number 9 up top, Bamford and Calvin Phillips in centre mid, and we've not got, I'd be like, fucking hell. I'm not even sure at this point whether that's an upgrade on Gruev.
Yeah.
Never mind Tanaka and Ampadu. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
assuming we keep everyone and we bring in, because for me, I don't know how it's going to work, but I think we need to bring in like a ridiculous, maybe a young kind of energetic number 8 that can get forward, that can wean his way into the team a little bit when Tanaka needs a rest and stuff like that. But say we do that and we've still got Ampadu, we've still got Tanaka, we've still got Gruev. Then if he's in that mix and it's not all reliant on him, that's all right. Because you still got Ampadu, Gruev, even Tanaka who can play deeper. So you still got options. But if it's one of them where he's coming in and, Ampadu would be there anyway, wouldn't there? So I guess he wouldn't be first choice.
Well, no, and he's not going to come in as captain, is he?
No.
And that is what Ampadu is.
Unfortunate for Phillips, that's our strong position. We've got Ampadu there, Gruev there. He could come in as second, but would he want that? But then it's competition and he's challenging for a spot. But then if he gets in the team, you probably have to drop Ampadu, which I don't think is going to happen.
No.
It's weird. It's a difficult one.
Unless he goes back further forward, Lockie, like he did before Bielsa.
Number 10.
But then
Oh,
where
God.
does he go? I mean, maybe he's gonna have to sit
Yeah.
on bench somewhere because he can't get in Ipswich side and they've gone down. I mean, I think he did at one point in the season, but
if he's sitting on bench, I think he'd rather do it at Leeds and anywhere else, wouldn't he?
yeah.
Because at least it's at Leeds. It's a tough one for me. Honestly, it is.
What would you do about Byram?
It's one of them where if we brought Milner in, someone like that, I'd be all right letting him go. But right now, it's another one. It's a similar situation for me. As long as he's there, we've got Bogle, Schmidt. Hopefully, can get better and be better next year. If he's third choice, it's fine for me.
I'd keep Byram. Me
probably won't play, but can if he needs to. I think he'll be fine.
Not going to let you down. Yeah. I'd keep Byram. I think he's a pro. I don't think to the level that Milner is, but because obviously he's nowhere near they got the ability. But I don't want to start ripping that up.
No.
When I just don't think there's any need, and I never talk about money particularly, but I don't think he'll be on ludicrous wages. It's not going to make much of a dent in it. Sets the standard.
Like I said, at start, innit? It's adding to what we've got. So these players like Bamford and Byram don't have to be second choice. They can be third choice and play a little less, but they're still there. You still need a squad. And if we get rid of all these players, suddenly we've got, like I said, 14, 15 players. We don't have a squad. We've got 4 subs. Keep them and add to it and improve on it for me before we start thinking about getting rid of players. Maybe then next year we built a squad, then we can afford to get rid of some of these older
absolutely.
guys.
Yeah, I agree. And not just getting rid of it, not just going, well, Byron's not much use, so get him out of darts. So that's what I can't handle. He's not much use, so get rid. No, just let him sit on bench. Maybe not in every single match day squad.
Yeah.
But just every now and again he's going to be around in squad and you just think, oh, Byron's here, no problem. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he deserves his year in Prem with us if we're going to go sentimental FC with it. But yes, Lockie. Have you got any? I watched your video yesterday, dude, which is a bit about the Prem, isn't it? And going up and are we ready and stuff. So that's a good video. So I suggest everybody goes, checks that out. Have you got much planned coming up?
Hopefully I'm going to do one tomorrow on are we good enough for the Prem in terms of the playing style? So the way we play and stuff like that. But that will be tomorrow, the day after, depending on if I can be bothered.
Yeah, I mean, nice one. So go check out LockyLeeds, everybody. I know I say it every time, but everybody that watches this probably watches you, dude. But it is worth me saying it's definitely good value. Get all your knowledge over there that you can use down in Boozer. Just pretend that you've come up with it. That's what I do. That's what my middle brother said to me the other week. He says, I watch you boys, and then I just repeat everything you've said, regardless what it is, and use it as his own because his girlfriend's dad's. I mean, my brother loves footy, but my middle brother loves it. Both of them love it. But he'll go around to these girlfriends' dads who's proper, he does coaching and stuff, loves it, and he says he just spews everything you've said out to him. And Jen's dad's like, oh, this is interesting. He's got a bit of a foothold on it, hasn't he? So you're helping my brother out if nobody else, Lockie.
Well, don't always listen to me because most information I get is from people that know much more than me. It's like I always get this, and really everyone's really nice on the comments, and they always say, "Oh, you're so knowledgeable." But it's like I've got this from people that know so much. This is 1% of what they tell. It's honestly, mate. I was in my UFSC, obviously I've been doing it for a while, but the last one was last week, and the tutors on there just
genius.
When you're doing their session, it's great. The amount of detail and everything. There's levels to this, and I'm trying to get somewhere near here, but right now it's here. But here's all right. I'm all right with here for now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and as long as you know where you're at with stuff, I've always thought that throughout my whole life, and be confident in yourself, which I'm sure you are, but you know where you're at, and that's how you do improve. Because people that just think that dogs bollocks don't go anywhere, they don't improve. They might get somewhere.
And if this is what I learned from when I was younger. I didn't do coaching when I was a player. I used to think I knew everything about coaching. I was so wrong when I went to uni. I learned the hard way, and it's just about listening and learning. This is why I honestly find it hard to criticize FARKE because he knows so much more than me. So much. I know 0.5% than him about football. It's when you go to someone that knows a lot, that's when you're sat there going, all right, this is what you're talking about here. And So, yeah, so if anyone in there, there might be one person in the chat that wants to get into it, just listen and learn. Don't be too critical of managers. You don't have to agree with them, but respect what they're doing. For me, that's always what I try and do. So, chatting waffle, but if one person might,
No, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah,
have an open mind is what I'm trying to say. I think is the best way to.
Agreed. And just on that, Lockie, what are you doing? Any scouting reports, you and Andrea?
Yeah, I imagine they'll be in like June potentially. That's up to Joe. Whenever Joe's ready to get us on, I'll have to do more. I'm behind on me lists this year, to be honest, because I didn't know whether I was doing Championship or Premier League players. So I'm kind of catching up with the Premier League players.
I still want that Championship one as well, Lockie, just to see what it could have been. So
yeah,
be good.
Yeah, some dark names on there that you don't have to worry about anymore.
Always remember, Perau knows more than FARKE. That's one thing we can't. Oliver says scouting reports are class. We know this. Absolutely. But yes, Lockie, cheers for coming on, dude. Honestly, you always give me loads of your time, man. You're such a legend. So I'll probably speak to you in about 10 minutes in the WhatsApp group. So
yeah, someone will do something and we'll have to talk about it. Someone will annoy Joe. So
yeah. Nice one. So yeah, everybody go check out LockyLeeds. I'll be going live after this just to chat some shit for an hour or so, and I'll see you all on the other side. Cheers again, Locky. Take it easy, dude.
No worries.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.